gone cross country. So, how many of you guys?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? There we go. How many people here think they have not gone cross country? Got one honest guy.
No.
2, 3. Okay. All right. Well, I told Clem I'd just do a little basic, what I think you got to be able to do to get going cross country. So the first thing you got to be able to do is what? Stay up, right? You got to be able to stay up. So if you go through some of the SSA badge protocols, ABC, you're going to be working on stuff like that. There's a 5-hour requirement on one of those, which takes a while for people to do. We don't have a lot of people pushing the badges in the club, but you certainly will push yourself if you try to do those ABC badges and keep going from there to your 300K and then your declared tasks and going through that whole process. So that's one way to keep yourself motivated. All these task motivated things will get you going cross country. I think we just had our third cross country pilot. He's not here, Tom Zollner. He just finished doing the 14ers, and I must say, in style, going down to Telluride. That was the most fun challenge cross country I think I've had. It was just trying to get all the 14ers, and that's a long-term goal for all of you guys, I hope. It takes a while. It's fun. Sometimes you'll get 40 in one day, and then it will take you 3 months to get one. So set your goals. Use those ABCs to push you along. Take the next step. There are going to be steps that will help you down the road when you're going cross country. So you got to have good thermaling technique. If you're not doing that, you better have good land out technique. Those two will go hand in hand. Let's see. So knowing when to leave, lots of people, even myself, you'll hang too long in a thermal versus trying to get going to the next one. These are all things that will be analyzed later. If you're taking these OLC traces and putting them up, there's lots of good things you can study about how you're flying, how you're thermally, how you're exiting thermals, how you're wandering around aimlessly. So you'll learn a lot about how you fly just by self-reflection and watching your own tapes. If you're afraid of going cross country, if you've flown over Gross or out to Estes Park, you've gone cross country. You're just coming always back here. But if you decided to go to Fort Collins instead of coming here, that's cross country. That's all you're doing is shifting where you're going to go to your next point. So, having a good map, having your research done, I'd like to applaud Clem here, who put out a nice turn point land out list that he went and researched, drove to the fields, looked at them, Google Earth, lots of research. Then he's got a pocket full of tricks that he's going to be able to use. So if you're just going, I'm going to go cross country and let's go this way, and you don't know what's in front of you, not a good scenario. So do your homework, do good maps. Speaking of which, if you don't use glide plan, here's a couple if you guys are interested. Anybody? Just the little circle maps. It's a great little tool if you don't use glide plan. As fancy as your computer can be, I probably got one of the nicer ones on the field. Still take a map with me. It's what you got to do. Batteries go out. Know where I are. So have that with you. Put the places you want to land out on there. Draw your circles. Shift your gears. Flying deep in the mountains, you might want to say I want to be at my land point 2,000, 3,000 feet above it versus 1,000 feet. Oddly, I saw this thing the other day set at 1,000. Club policy was to set it at 1,500, so somebody's pushing it. So reset that, whoever's flying it. Some other points. You got any questions on cross country I might be able to address?
Ask the question about how many people might be interested in doing what we were talking about.
So I was talking to John about using our Cub as a resource. So if you really are a pure glider pilot, really haven't been out of here, gone up to Estes Park, but you're wondering what's on the other side of that ridge going into the Poudre Valley, maybe you go with the tow pilot, go see what's on the other side of the ridge.
Can you do that on a tow?
That's a long tow. You want to pay for it, I'm sure the club would love the revenue.
I'm talking about riding in the back, but
What do you mean?
so you kind of said go up in a Piper.
Just go with a tow pilot in the Cub.
In the Cub, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that something that, can you go up on somebody else's tow? Is it allowed to have a second person in the aircraft? Or does it need to be when the aircraft is only up? Okay.
We don't. That's against club policy, having a passenger during a tow.
Okay.
Unless they're training.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be a dedicated flight.
It's like
It'd be a dedicated flight.
Yeah,
And
you're
it's cheap.
gonna ask a
Cheap.
tow pilot to take you
Is
cross
it?
country, you know, so you can scope out your field and look at the places you got on your map, right?
Yep.
Red Feather Lakes. It says it's got an airport there.
Yeah,
Take a look at it.
yeah, not so much.
I don't remember.
Well, that's my point. Is you can start. You know, you think you see something on a map, and that's a land point, and then you go fly over and go, who said you could land there?
There's a campground there that looks like it might be landable.
Right.
If you
Exactly.
have to.
But,
Yeah.
you know, it still says there's an airport up at Anastu, or I don't know how you pronounce
Oh,
that
yeah,
place
yeah,
up there,
yeah.
but, you know, I have yet to find it.
Not
I've
so
spent
much.
a lot of time drilling holes over there.
Very near, yeah.
I don't see it.
I found it.
You found it?
Yeah, I've flown over. Not in a glider. When
Yeah,
I
but
was doing mountain climbing.
I can't distinguish anything there I'd want to land out at. So that's where your research comes in. You've got to be able to,
Yeah, it's not good.
you know, trust what you're going toward as a land point. Let's see. So when you're cutting your teeth going cross country, what I've always tried to teach you guys is just do a triangle around the airport. Really, Clem has shown a couple flights in the past month or so, 500 Ks. Don't think he ever was out of final glide of Boulder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Red
was.
Feather Lakes, if you're at 17, you'll make it back kind of thing. I mean, but, you know, you can do a 500K and be in final glide at this airport. This is a luxury you don't get in the East Coast. That's for sure. So if you do your math, if you do your planning,
1300.
you can do some pretty good cross country and
1400
really
like
still feel comfortable
Yeah.
just flying around locally, so to speak, before you're going to cut that cord and jump down to Salida, Buena Vista Valley, and then you're playing off of different airports. So that's your plan. Know your equipment. So what are you flying? If you're in that DG, know how to use it. If you're using a handheld UDI, you better know how to use it. Your backup is what's in your hands right there. Same thing with, where is the distance? You know the piece of equipment, know how to use it, know how to make sure you're going to the right place. There's good features on both of them, nearest land point, those type things. That's a great thing. Know how to upload your database. Make your own database. John is a big supporter of Lauterbach's Turnpoint site. Have any of you guys used that? You guys all know about it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
There's a worldwide Turnpoint exchange. Be careful what you type. You might get a site you don't want. The worldwide Turnpoint exchange will have all the turnpoints all over the world. You can go to North America, pull up Colorado. There's Turnpoint databases, 100 mile, 250 mile, 500, the whole front range down to Moriarty, out to Kansas. So you can pick up all those turn point databases. You can edit those in a text file, basically, by putting an asterisk in front of something. You just deleted it. It's still there, but it won't show up as one of your turn points. So, you can edit these things, copy, paste, make your own turn point file. I'll help anybody who needs that. But then you can verify the file. You can make your own turn points. Farm field up. Oh, geez, I don't know where it is, but I know where it is. It's just a grass field in between the Walden Valley and Red Feather Lakes. There's a nice little valley there, really nice farm fields. I have that as a turn point. It's actually on those maps there. So making your own turn points for places that you've researched, that you are comfortable using, that's going to give you a more comfort factor when you start going cross country. What are you checked out in? If you're in the K-21, don't go cross country. We don't have a trailer. If you do, you better make sure you're going to land at an airport. You can get an aero retrieve. You can do that in any of the gliders. Last one I know of, Colin landed up in Laramie last year, I think, and somebody came up and you went up and got him?
Oh, I got Zollner.
Oh, you get Zollner, yeah, that was another one over in Grand Lake. So, that's a quick, easy retrieve. But think about what you're doing. Wing down, 60-foot runway, 66-foot wing. Not a good scenario for taking off. Push it all the way to one side. Know what you're doing. Don't just randomly, do some aero retrieve out of a place you shouldn't be doing it. The next thing you know, you ground loop on takeoff and you wreck the glider. So get yourself checked out in the DG. Discus. Practice your thermal and practice your little local cross countries. So you get down to I-70, see how fast you can get yourself up to Estes Park. That's a good cross country right there. You do that twice, you got 300K. Never out of final glide of the airport. So it's a good way to exercise before you want to make the jump to the next place. So now you're down to I-70, and wow, that Cloud Street looks great going down to Pikes Peak. Well, now you just shift gears. I got Perry Park, off I go. That's how you start your cross country. So if you're not comfortable just taking off and doing that on your own, you should jump in this bird with one of your instructors and go cross country and start doing some with somebody else, doing cross country. You've got other guys, mentors, maybe get John to go fly with you. Zollner will fly with anybody. So you got people that have experience cross country. Colin Berry does it often. I'm sure you guys are flying with him. That's the way to do it. Jump in the plane, somebody's going to take you cross country. Your land out options, like we said, do your research. If Clem did do his research, he might not have gone on these 500s already because he's very conservative. He did his homework. He's put some good flights out the past month or two. Questions on stuff?
Getting to the west side of convergence.
So, that usually takes money. The 11,000 foot tow. You can do 2 tows or 1 long tow. And the second tow is usually a long tow, right? So just, if you're going to commit to it, you have to understand the weather, get going on your cross country. So that goes back to the next sort of area. Weather. How do you do your weather for cross country? What are you looking at? You start just, soaring forecast. Excellent. Jump out to the field? Is that what you guys do?
No.
Or do you do more homework than that? Well, that page, is hokey as it is, that's still in my daily briefing. I look at that thing, it says excellent, and I go, prove it to me. And I start looking at other stuff, right? I'm pretty impressed with its time of overdevelopment. And I don't know, I learned it from some of the other guys. You start your cross country not from, here. You start it from when you want to get home. If it's overdeveloping at 4 o'clock, where do you want to be at 4 o'clock?
Yeah.
You want to be on the New Mexico line? Or do you want to be on final glide back to here and then say, oh, I'll pick up some more miles because it's still good, right? So you got to plan yourself to get back where you want to go. I think one of my first land outs burned into my head, get out of the Laramie Valley by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You don't want to be in the Laramie Valley at 4 because it goes west wind and it just turns into a windstorm and no lift. I think last year I was up there with Caldwell and we were both going, oh, we're going to Laramie, we're going to Laramie. So you'll learn places to be and not to be. Usually when you get greedy, that's when you're going to start landing out, right? So how conservative you play the game. Last week I went down trying to get to the New Mexico line. I got down there and all of a sudden it's like winds shifted out of the west and I'm like, it's going wave, I got to get out of here. And I gave up. Yeah. But I was just like, okay, I'm not going to the border. Turn around and start heading back north because if I did, I would have been landing in Westcliff or something. Retrieves.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if you're gonna go cross country, you gotta have a plan.
If you're going
Number.
cross country, you have to have, well, you don't, you know, I've seen good cross country pilots leave, land out, all their gear is everywhere. Girlfriend shows up going, what? You leave your car ready to go. Everything tied down. Gunner, bless his heart, he left stuff closed, but I remember Bob Carl just jumped in and took off. None of the dollies were tied down, and by the time he got to Gunner, there were holes in his trailer. Shit flying around inside the trailer. So, you know, pack your stuff ready to go, like mom is going to inspect your room. Have everything ready. Have the key. Have the truck full of gas. Have a cooler with some beverages. I don't know what John's got on his list, but
It's not like
his crew is expert.
My wife's cell phone number.
Phone numbers. Yep. How are you getting tracked? Are you going cross country? I mean, I see guys going cross country. They post stuff on OLC, and I'm like, no trace, nobody tracking. It's like, I'm not picking you up. Edge has made an incredible site for tracking people. You can use your phone. You can use a spot. Use both. I do. That changed the game as far as I'm concerned in cross country. It used to be radio communications. You know, where are you? Was the only way we could figure out where somebody was keeping in touch with somebody. That meant driving up on top of some peak so you got enough radio reception to talk to them 200 miles away. Kind of thing. So it's changed a lot with this spot tracking. Be responsible and then have somebody who said they'd come get you. The guy's flying the distance, the guy's flying this. We should be backing each other up. You've got it Saturday. I'll crew for you Saturday. You crew for me next Saturday. That's the kind of thing we should be doing at the club. Backing each other up. Doesn't mean you got to sit here at the airport waiting for the guy, but you got to be ready to get the call and go, oh yeah, I said I'd come pick you up for that steak dinner. So you know, set up a tow pilot. I might need crew. I'm going up toward Laramie. If I give you a call, come get me. The call's not always going to work. I think my first land out up in Laramie, no cell service. I landed on a dirt road, the southern part of the valley there. No cell service. Finally, someone screeches to a stop. You know, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. You need anything? I said, yes, I need a phone. So it took me even further into the woods, over to his house, where I got to use the phone. Called my partner, said, hey, meet me at the truck stop in Laramie. Then he drove me up to Laramie, filled up the girl's car, said thank you, stayed at the truck stop. 10 o'clock he showed up. Then we got pulled over by the cops because they thought we were unloading drugs on the road. And we got home at like 2 in the morning. But yes, retrieving is an important part of your game. Don't go someplace without somebody watching for you. I think a lot of us are always watching Pedge's page and trying to keep tabs on people and stuff, but ask yourself how many are going to come get you if they see the dot stop moving. So have some crew, set up some relations in the club between other club flyers that are going to be able to, you know, back you up one day or the next. I'll come get you if I can. During the week, it's got to be after 4 o'clock. That's all I know. Weekends, maybe if I get home on my own glider. Yeah, most of my land outs, I think I knew a couple hours beforehand. This is not going to be the day. You feel it coming. Remember what you look at. I'm a firm believer in what you look at is what you're going to hit. So if all you're doing is focusing on landing out like Mike might, most likely going to do it. All right.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, Al.
Real quick, folks. I won't